Hey everyone, it's me, author Alexandrian Fonte, coming to you with a new review. So, today, remember yesterday I said I wasn't exactly sure who we were going to be doing today. Um, and I wasn't. So, we haven't gotten any more submissions for romance yet, which is very heartbreaking. So, today I actually am reading an author that Jen likes, and she sent me the book. She bought it herself, and then she sent me the book to read. Actually, no, I'm sorry. It's a freebie on Amazon right now. So, basically, she sent me the book, and she was like, "Oh, this is a freebie. You got to read it." So, basically, so tonight our author is just 1 second. So I've been looking at myself. I've actually gained weight since I've been here in California, which really sucks. So today I actually went and got a Planet Fitness membership. Because I have to get the weight off. This is the heaviest I've ever been in my life. But not shaming anyone. It's just my comfortability isn't. I'm not comfortable at this weight. I'm like actually weighed myself, and I'm a size 11 now, and I've never been an 11 in my life. So yeah, I got lazy. So anyway, so today's author is USA Today best-selling author Lena Hart. Okay, so, and the book is called His Flower Queen. And up here at the top it says Q1. So I'm assuming this is book. Well, actually, yeah, this is book 1 because she puts an excerpt of book 2 in here. So here is. So my son told me that. I hope you guys can see this because I don't want to bring it too close because there it went. My son said that by me bringing the tablet up to the camera like that, that's what's turning everything orange, which is really weird because that sepia look. You see how when I first start the video, I'm a normal color, and then all of a sudden it turns and I'm orange. So that's the reason why he said I'm bringing it too close to the camera, and it did that anyway. So I'm basically going to have to figure out what's going on. And I'm still waiting for my damn camera from, I ordered it, I should have known, but I ordered it from Wish. Because my daughter, she got a freaking, she got a wall projector from Wish, and it's awesome. It basically turns your computer into like a home theater, and it only cost her like $30. So basically, this was a full on like camera, and it was like $16. And so it's taking freaking forever to get here. So hopefully it will be here soon, and then we won't continue to have these orange videos, or I'll just remember not to put it up to the camera like that. Like, I hope you guys can see this. The book is called His Flower Queen. And once again, it's by, oh, hey, yeah, see, it went off. And once again, it's by Lena Hart. And can you guys see that? Hopefully you can. Because if I bring it any closer, then it's going to turn me orange again. So anyway, so this is it. Now, this book was really good. I really liked it. So, remember, I have to have my notes. So the book is, okay, so the main characters of the book, Gabe and Nina. So Gabe basically, okay, Gabe owns a casino. He's been trying to get a divorce for 3 years now. Now, normally I don't read anything that has to do with extramarital. It's just like my own preference, and I don't read that. When I started reading this book, originally I was like, no, I don't want to read this. I can't, I don't do this. But then I realized the situation is not the same. So Gabe is married to this crazy, right? And so for 3 years now, he's been trying to get a divorce from her. She cheated on him. And so when he found out, he was like, it's over, which is what I did too. It's over and I'm done. So you need to give me a divorce. So basically, for the last 3 years, he's been trying to divorce her. And every time he sends her the papers, she will send them back and she'll be like, no, because she wants half of his empire. So he basically opened a casino with his friend. His good friend. And so he owns half of this casino. And from what I read, I think he has like a couple of other businesses or whatever. And so, basically, so it's like a one up. She's like, I'll give you a divorce, you give me half. And he's like, no, I worked my butt off for this and I'm not giving you half of it when you could just, you don't even love me. You just want me in this relationship because you can manipulate it. And so, basically, he goes on for the 3 years, continuing to try, to get the divorce. Now, could he have tried harder? I'm sure he could have, because there's one part in the book where Nina tells him that. And so, basically, then they throw like this big, huge party, and she is invited to the party for some other whatever. The author doesn't really give all of that, that much of the backstory for Nina herself. It just says that they met at a party. And so what it was is which is what I do too. I don't know if you guys do this. She was at a party and there was a centerpiece and it had tulips, I believe the author said. I can't remember exactly what kind of flower it was. But anyway, I think it was tulips. And so she was in the process of trying to snake some of those tulips. I do it all the time. She was trying to like heist the centerpiece. And then she felt someone watching her. And so when she turned around, it was him. Well, he was enamored by like her beauty, but then he chuckled because he knew what she was doing. She was trying to steal the flowers. And so he goes over and he starts having a conversation with her. Okay, so now that's how they met. Now Nina is Regina. She is like a marketing executive. I believe that's what she is. So she's working for this company, but the problem is that she's like a junior VP. But the problem is like she's not going anywhere in the company. And she feels like she's being kept at a certain level when her talents are like so amazing because she got the casino. I mean, she got one of their biggest freaking accounts, but even still, she's still not getting the accolades that she needs. And so, so after the initial meeting, they start dating, and then one day she's like complaining about that. And then the next thing she knows, she's getting invited to come and petition for this big huge casino account. Now, she has no clue it's him. And so what he does is, not only does he not tell her that his butt is married, and he's been trying to get a divorce from this woman for like 3 years, but he doesn't tell her that he is her actual boss. And because of him, he went to her company and he told them to give her the account. So basically, this woman has worked her entire life off to get to where she is. She's at these huge accolades, and then he comes in and basically negates her entire existence by going in there and telling these people to give her a job because she didn't get the job. She feels like she didn't get the job on her own merit. And so she doesn't know any of this yet, right? And so she's going in for the interview she got the job. She's congratulated. Now she has to go in for the job. She's from Boston. She lives in Boston. So she's flying from Boston to Nevada, which is where the casino is. And so She met him. She assumed that he lived in Boston. All of this stuff, right? He's told her all. It's not so much that he told her lies. He just never told her the truth. So it's like he didn't purposely go out, and tell her any lies. Like, I'm not giving him an excuse, but I do like it. He didn't tell her lies per se. It was more the sin of omission. Like, he never told her this stuff when he should have. And so basically what happens is she goes for this job, right? But while she's on the plane, she gets a text from an unknown number, and the text says, "Stay away from my husband." And then 2 seconds after the text, it's a picture of him and a redhead. And so she's been dating him now for 7 whole months, right? You don't get a lot of the backstory. We'll talk about that when I'm done. But so she's been dating him for 7 whole months, right? And then all of a sudden, while she's on the plane, she gets this message and this picture of this woman. And so she's like, what the hell? And then, not to mention, the caption says, "Stay away from my husband." So she's freaking out. She's like, this lying mother, blah, 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 blah. And so she's furious, right? Because she had no intention of ever dating a married man. And basically, she had her morals. And she's just like, really, you put me in this situation, blah, 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 blah. So she's seeing red, right? And so she gets to the hotel. And so she checks into her room. She greets, blah, blah, blah. She checks into her room. She falls asleep. Now, the character also has diabetes. And so one of the things is like, I like the fact that she brought awareness to that too. That you don't have to be overweight to have diabetes, because the character is skinny. My mom had type 2 onset diabetes, but she got it when she was like 50. And my mom wasn't a heavy lady. She actually didn't gain the weight until they actually gave her steroids to go with that diabetes or whatever it was. And that caused her to actually gain the weight and exacerbate the diabetes, which was just freaking insane. And of course I had to go in and, just like intellectually curse people out. But anyway, that's me, mom. So basically, she brings awareness to, diabetes, and because there's even one episode in the book where she actually goes into diabetic shock. But so she goes to sleep, her sugar's low. She decides to, she takes her insulin, and then she falls asleep because she's tired. When your blood sugar is low, it can make you like lethargic, and there's a lot of issues that go with that because like I said, my mom has diabetes. And so when she wakes up, like, he's been calling her. He's called her like probably 20 times. He's texted her, and she's ignored it all because, she got this message on the plane: "Stay away from my husband." And so basically she's furious. And so he finally goes to the hotel room. He's banging on the door, and then, she wakes up. She didn't even realize that she went to sleep. She wakes up, and then she goes and opens the door, and then she starts wailing on him like, "You dirty sons of blah, 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 blah. You basically turned me into a cheater, this and this and that." And he's like, "I don't know, what are you talking about, blah, blah." Because he thinks she's pissed off. That it's like, the funny part is, he knows she's pissed off at him because she's not answering her phone. But he thinks she's pissed off because she found out that he's her boss. So he never told her that either. So he's like, "I understand you have the right to be pissed off, but this much?" And then she turns around and she goes, "Yeah, because you should have, why am I learning right now that you have a wife?" And then, so he's like, basically, "Oh, F." So she basically runs it all down to him. And then after that, it's like, once those words come out of her mouth, she's like, "I'm done. I don't want to deal with you, blah, 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 blah." And so then she realizes, and she's like, "And why are you even here?" And then when she says, "Why are you even here?" it's like everything starts to dawn on her. And she's like, "Oh my God, you got me this job." And so everything that she's worked for up until this point in her life, he's basically ruined it all. And so basically she's just like, you screwed me every which kind of way that you could, and not just physically. And so basically that's where I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna let you guys finish the rest of the book, but basically this is a really good book. So now I made my notes. Okay, so here's the issue. Gabe, I really like Gabe. I'm not trying to give him an excuse. I really, really am not. But I kind of feel for Gabe, I feel like, because maybe it's because, I'm just going to put this out there, I was in the same type of situation. My husband had an affair. I wanted a divorce because there was nothing left for me. I was done. That was the one thing I always told him. Never do that, because if you do, I'm gone. And so I wanted a divorce. And so for 3 years, my husband would not sign those papers. Every time I would every time the attorney would send the divorce papers to him, he'd take a Sharpie and write a big NO on it with an exclamation point and send them back. So it took me 3 years as well. So I kind of feel for Gabe. I kind of understand what he's going through. And then my husband wasn't, but this woman is a freaking psycho, because there's one part in the book where she's like, she finds out about Nina, and then so after all of this stuff, everything comes out. Nina's like, I gotta get out of here. I need some fresh air, blah, blah, blah. So she leaves the hotel, but she doesn't know Vegas because she's from Boston, right? And so she's like, she's thinking to herself, where should I go? And then this woman walks up to her and she's like, oh, are you trying to, look for some fun or something like that? And so she's like, no, not really. And she doesn't really want to talk to her, but she's like, I'm trying to be polite because she started a conversation with me. So they're talking or whatever. And then they're going back and forth, and she's like, well, if I could give you a ride if you need to, get somewhere, blah, blah, blah. She's like, no, blah, blah, blah. And so then she sees one of the people from one of his business partners, and now like she's embarrassed because she feels like, he got me this job, and they're probably all thinking that I slept my way to this job because I've been dating him for the last 7 months, and then he goes and gets me a job. And so she sees the other lady, and so she's embarrassed. So she's like, she says okay, and she goes with the lady, which I just felt like I want to just slap the S out of her right now, because you don't even know her. This is Vegas of all places. And so she goes with her, right? They start talking or whatever, and then she takes her to this like underground type of club, and it's called the Secret Garden or something like that. That should have told her right there. And so anyway, so she goes with her, and they're sitting there, and she's like, oh, would you like a drink, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, sure. And so she gives her a drink, but she's like, but I can't drink alcohol, right? And so she goes, no, it's fine. And she buys her a drink, and they're sitting there, and she's sipping her wine. And then she goes, so I guess I see what he sees in you. And so Nina's like, wait, what? And she goes, Gabe. And then she realizes that that's his ex-wife, or the wife that he's trying to get rid of. And so she's automatically like, OS. This is going to turn out really bad. And so she goes to get up, and then she's lightheaded and she's dizzy. And so then the book pans, and it's Gabe, like, he's pissed off because she's not answering his phone. And then he's like, why is she not answering? Because even though they were pissed off at each other, and he was like, they had come to like a standstill. She was like, okay, I'm not leaving until you tell me basically everything. And so she had left abruptly just to get out of the freaking hotel so she could clear her head and get some space, right? And so she's sitting there, and she's basically taunting her, and then she feels lightheaded, and then she's like, she gets up to leave, and then she falls back into the chair. And so basically this spiked her drink. And so you see Gabe, and he's pacing back and forth, right? And then he decides to go downstairs and ask security if they can find her. And so the tech girl, she's looking all through the casino, and then finally it pans on her like 1, 2, 3 times, and then it pans outside, and then it shows her standing there like on the curb, and then the woman walks up to her, and the minute he saw the back of her head, he knew it was his crazy you-know-what wife. And so he's panicking and freaking out, right? Because he knows what type of person she is. And so then the book pans again, and it goes back to the Secret Garden Club, and it's like a sexual scene, right? And so like I was like, hey, what's going on? And then basically she's like groggy and talking, and like you think she's talking about Gabe, and it's not. And then all of a sudden she like this whole scene, right? And then all of a sudden she starts hearing this thundering, and someone's yelling, right? And then she goes into he grabs her, and then she thinks it's Gabe, and then this time it actually is him. So this crazy wife went to pimp her out. She basically spiked her drink with ecstasy, and she went to pimp her out. And so Gabe winds up beating up the dude that she's trying to pimp her out with. And then she comes in the room, and she's like, it wasn't even that serious. And she's like, and he's like, what'd you put in her drink? What'd you put in her drink? She's diabetic, blah, 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 blah. And then she's like, wait, what? I was just trying to let her have some fun. And so it basically sends her into diabetic shock. They have to call the paramedics and all of this stuff. And then she goes to the hospital. And then when she finally wakes up, she's like, I'm done. Not only did you lie about everything, but your freaking crazy wife tried to kill me. Basically, I'm done with you. I'm done. And he's like, and it's like, I feel so sorry for Gabe though still, because it's not that he wanted this crazy in his life, but at this point she's like, really, because if you really wanted her out of your life, you could have paid her what she wanted. So in the flip side of it, it's like I can sympathize with Gabe because of the fact that he wanted her crazy ass gone. Can I say that on this channel? I'm not exactly sure, but anyway, he wanted her gone. But then on the flip side, he didn't want to give her that money, especially for something that he worked so hard for. She didn't have anything to do with it. They don't have any dependents. Like, I could understand giving her half if she had kids by him. But she doesn't in this book. She wants the money to get back at him. So that's why he never gave it to her. But he never realized that it would cause this much drama. And so Nia is just like, I'm done with both you crazy people. I'm going home. But then unfortunately, because of the fact that she had the diabetic, she went into diabetic shock, she can't leave. The doctors are like, no, you have to wait until all of this is over. And so she's forced to stay there. And then basically the rest of the book is Gabe trying to get her back. And what happens with the wife and all that stuff. But that is where I'm going to stop. So basically, this was a good book. And if I had to star this book, I would star it a good 3.75. I did see some typos. In one section, it did kind of throw me out of the story, but the story is still good. It's still a really good book. I really, really, really enjoyed this book. And so basically, if I had to say anything that I didn't like about it is I kind of felt the reason that it gets a 3.75 instead of a 4 is because, I don't know, that could just be me. I kind of feel like Nia should have went off on her. Like, I mean, there's the one scene in the hospital where, like after all of the stuff that she's done to her, where she punches her in the face. And it's like, no, the minute she showed her face in my hospital room, I don't care if I was hooked up to IVs or whatever. I'd have snatched that and I'd have beat her down right there in the hospital room. That has nothing to do with being a person of color or whatever. That has to do with the fact that she basically tried to pimp her out. And for someone not to press charges against her, not to beat her, you know what, when she physically had you pimped out. Like, she was so gone because what she put in her drink was liquid ecstasy. She was so gone that the man that was doing these things to her, in her mind, she thought it was gay. And so the reason why I don't star this book a 4 stars is because there's no way in the history of man that any character, whether fiction or real, would allow this woman to stand in their hospital room and not beat her. Or at the very least, not call the police on her. And then so she goes, no, you came to my... And then to make it even worse, the Meredith, which is the wife, she goes, no, you came to my place already faded. And the minute that she said that would have meant that calling the police on her probably would have been... It might not have worked, so I would have beat up. That's just the way I feel. So that's why the book gets a 3.75 instead of a 4 stars to me, because I that's just not realistic to me. It's not realistic to me that you did this to someone. You spiked their drink with liquid ecstasy and then you pimp them out. And you just stand there and say, oh, like that? So yeah. I mean, I know it's fiction and it's supposed to be fiction and it's not supposed to be realistic. But that just does not work for any world. Any world that don't work. There's no way someone would stand there and speak to that woman and have a conversation with her after she pimped them out and put liquid ecstasy in their drink and they almost died. No way. No way, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm just upset about that. But besides that, it was a really good book. I really liked it. And you guys should definitely go out and get it. Once again, it's called His Flower Queen. And it's by author Lena Hart. And remember, this is a freebie on Amazon right now. So you guys go and pick this up. And here's the thing. Even though... Darn it. Even though... this stupid camera. Okay. It keeps, for some reason, the light keeps catching it. Even though this is a... Let me move out of the screen for a second. Maybe it'll... No, it's not working. But even though these books are freebies, right? And you're not actually paying for them, the author still gets credit because of the fact that you downloaded it. So, and then when you leave your review and your stars for them, that's even better. It doesn't matter if it's a freebie and you didn't pay for it. You're still doing the author a service by downloading it and reading it, because then you get to leave your review. And so this book is a solid 3.75. Like I said, she would have gotten a 4 stars if not for that scene. Because that scene, I was in the background, girl, no, you not gonna, no, basically. So, that is the only reason why she gets a 3.75. Because she would have gotten a 4, but I just, I couldn't do that scene right there. Just couldn't. But anyway, so, once again, it's called His Flower Queen, and it's by author Lena Hart. And you can find it on Amazon right now. Amazon.com. There it is. Amazon.com. And it's a freebie. Remember that. It's free. So, you don't even have to pay for this. This is such a good book. You're getting it for free. So, you guys make sure you go out there and you get it. Now, tomorrow is our last day of... romance, but unfortunately we are going to go with one of my housemates because of the fact that we don't have a romance author for tomorrow. So on Friday we will be reading author, because it isn't a romance, but it's delicious. I've already started reading it. We will be reading author Cynthia A. Noble, and the book is called Intent. Okay. So tomorrow we will be reading, just 1 second. You guys excuse my appearance. I got off work. Let's see. Tomorrow we will be reading, darn it, just a second, guys. You know, I have issues. I would really love to review this book, A Secret Tie, but I'm not sure if she is a indie author. Her name is Sumatra. No, wait. I want to pronounce it right in case someone out there knows her. Sumarita Ryan, I believe. Sumarita Ryan. And the book is called A Secret Tie, The King and the Spy. If someone knows this author, please, I want to review this book so bad. Look at that beautiful cover. Look at it. Look at it. I want to review this book, but I'm not sure if she's an indie author. And since this is an indie-only channel, we only go with indie authors. But anyway, so, like I said, tomorrow we will be reading... Darn it. Oh, okay. Tomorrow we will be reading a paranormal romance from R. Lee. Oh, actually, no, that's not the one we're going to do. We're going to do, it's a short one. It's a very short, sexy one, y'all. We are going to be reading tomorrow, or reviewing. It's called More Than Words, and it's by R. Lee Parker. I'm not sure if you guys can see the cover on this. This is terrible. But anyway, so we will be reading More Than Words, and it comes from her Sex Can't Beat Love series. And basically what she does is she takes a bunch of scenes that would ordinarily be like a Tinder, a hookup, or whatever. And she shows what happens when two people actually pretend like they have no feelings for each other. And then basically what happens after that. And so all of her books, even though they're erotic romances, every last one of them has a happy ending. Like me, I don't write happy endings unless it's contemporary or historical. But for like my paranormal, all my paranormals have a happy for now. Because I write series, so... there's no way to have a happy ending with that yet. So this is not a paranormal. It's actually a contemporary. And it's called More Than Words. And like I said, it's by R. Lee Parker. And this is what we're going to read tomorrow because we don't have an actual romance for tomorrow. And then on Friday, like I said, on Friday, we're going to be reading... Darn it. We're going to be reading author... I have to go find it. So I want to make sure I have her name right. I don't want to be saying people's names that aren't right. Okay. So, and tomorrow we're going to be reading Intent. And it's by author Cynthia A. Noble. And I already started reading it. It's good so far. And it says, sometimes those you trust the most are the monsters you fear. This is a really good book so far. And it has to do with witches too. I'm not finished with it, so I don't know if it's going to be considered a paranormal or not. But so far, it's really good. And I'll let you know on Friday. And that's pretty much it. So tomorrow, once again, the book is called, because I really want you guys to go out and get this book. It's so good. The book is called His Flower Queen. That is who we reviewed tonight. And it's by author USA today, best-selling author Lena Hart, and it's called, oh, hey, we got our color back, our normal color. And it's called His Flower Queen. So you guys make sure you go out there and get this book, because also it's free on Amazon. So there is no reason why you guys should not go and pick this up, because it's free. And then leave the author a review. If I can ask anything of you guys out there watching these review videos, we do these for you. I mean, yes, the authors get the benefit of having, you know, their book live reviewed, but we also do it for you so you can know and understand and start loving these indie authors too, like I do, because we've got some amazing authors and writers in this field, and they just don't get the recognition that, you know, mainstream does, like a Dan Brown or you know, James Patterson. Which technically, did you guys know that James Patterson is the most famous author on the planet? He has written more books and made more money than any other author out there. That's crazy. Even JK, which is insane. So that dude must have some serious money. Anyway, so once again, His Flower Queen by Lena Hart. Go out and get this. And then tomorrow, we will be reading More Than Words by Arlie Parker. And then on Friday, we will be reading Intent by Cynthia Knowles. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Love you. Peace, love. Oh, and if you're new to our channel, make sure you subscribe down there. Click that little bell, and each time we upload a video here, you will get the notice. Thanks, guys. Love you. See you soon.